Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Examiner and Supervisor of the Seminar Proposal. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Alfan Suseno. My student's number is A1B218076. In this occasion, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me to present my research proposal with the title The Use of Audio-Visual Media YouTube as a Vocabulary Teaching Media from the Perspective of EFL Student Teachers. In this presentation, I will presenting three chapters of the proposal. That is chapter 1, Introduction, chapter 2, Review of related literature, and chapter 3, Methodology. Now I will presenting the chapter 1 of the proposal, that is the introduction. Background of the research. Vocabulary has consequential role in English language, especially in progressing the student's knowledge in English language. Vocabulary is the central of the language. It is one of the most important aspects that will become the basic competences of speaking, listening, and writing skill. Vocabulary is important to language learner. Without a good vocabulary skill, someone will have difficulties in order to communicate effectively or express the idea in both oral and written form. One of the main problems faced by students in mastering and learning English was lack of vocabulary. Vocabulary is the basic to mastery all of the English skill. By the importance of vocabulary, many student teachers feel worried about delivering vocabulary to the students. They are still new in the field of teaching. One of things that can help them in teaching practice is by using technology. The development of information technology that is getting bigger in the current era of globalization are unavoidable. The influence of technology in the world is always adjusting to technological development in order to improve the quality of education, especially on the use of information and communication technology in teaching and learning process. YouTube can be alternative media in learning that is really needed at this time. YouTube can be used to stimulate the thought, feelings, attention, and abilities of students so that it can encourage the teaching and learning process. Audiovisual media can be an alternative is and also can be chosen by the student teacher as one of effort used to deal with the teaching and learning process of English vocabulary. Based on the background of the research, researcher conduct a research on title The Use of Audiovisual Media YouTube as a Vocabulary Teaching Media from the Perspective of EFL Student Teachers. The research question of this research is directed to answer a major research question. It is, how do EFL student teachers use YouTube as a vocabulary teaching media during teaching practice? In accordance with the research question, the purpose of the research is aimed to explore the use of audiovisual media YouTube as a vocabulary teaching media during the teaching practice of EFL student teachers. The limitation of the research. Researcher limits the research by only focus on EFL student teachers at one of university in Jambi that using audiovisual media as their vocabulary teaching media during their teaching practice. The significance of this research is hopefully the result of the research would be valuable for future EFL student teachers to learn various media in teaching of vocabulary that varied through the usage of visual media. The problem that were found during the process of teaching and learning English vocabulary could be overcome. The definition of the key terms. The definition of key terms of this research is three. That is audiovisual media, EFL student teachers, and vocabulary teaching. Audiovisual media is a medium involving the sense of hearing and sight in one process. EFL student teachers is EFL student who engage in teaching practice, and vocabulary teaching is important of focused literacy teaching and refers to knowledge and words, including their structure, morphology, usage, grammar, meaning or semantic, and links to other words. And now we begin to move to chapter 2, review of related literature. In this chapter, it has 9 subblock. It is the student teachers, the definition of media, the definition of teaching media, nature of English language teaching, the definition of audiovisual media, the definition of vocabulary, YouTube, theoretical framework, and previous research. The theoretical framework of this research, it has three main. Okay. Nowadays, the technology makes the change in education by providing various media to enhance the quality of teaching and learning process. The theories, the theories of audiovisual media in teaching has been explained and elaborate clearly. The combination of the audio and visual media will enrich the way teaching and learning will be delivered. Januszewski and Molinda 2008 defined audiovisual media as the media which could stimulate multiple senses and provide new tools to surmount the limitation of the textbook and teacher's talk. Audiovisual media are used to enhance the learning and teaching progress. According to Sajiman and Haryono and Raharjito 2005, kinds of visual media are film loop, television, and video. This modern type of audiovisual media has the variety in content. The information given can be factual, fictive, informative, and educative. Thus, audiovisual media can be used in teaching and learning process. However, based on Harvard, it should be fulfill these 3 points. They are assessing merit of using video for educational purposes, specifying criteria for selecting the video programs to achieve educational aims, and also stating guidelines for using the video and audio in the classroom. In order selecting the audiovisual media in teaching, based on Harvard 1996, the specific criteria in selecting instructional audiovisual media are content of audio, include the match of the objectives, accuracy, currency, scope, and stereotyping. The content of visual, the presentation include the impact, organization, teaching strategies, interactivity, motivation, use of cues, use of color, use of motion, and difficulty. And next is supplementary material, includes the teacher's guide, examination, and student's text. And then the technical quality includes the audio and video clarity. And then the effectiveness includes the student interest, and student achievement, and student evaluation. Many studies have been performed by researchers related with the usage of audiovisual media YouTube in English vocabulary. The first research was from Dwi Haryanto, 2015, in his research, The Effectiveness of Using YouTube for Vocabulary Mastery. The second research is from Getrudanita Moses, 2020, in her research, How Does YouTube Affect the acquisition of English vocabulary, and what is the impact of YouTube on the acquisition of English vocabulary. The third research is from A1C Chahyana 2020. In her study, the use of YouTube video in teaching English for foreign language at vocational high school. The fourth research is from Tira Chairya Haryono 2020. In her research, teaching vocabulary to young learner using video on YouTube at English course. And the last research is from Arndt HL and Ward R 2018 that entitled Vocabulary Learning from Watching YouTube Videos and Reading Blog Posts. And now the last chapter of this presentation is chapter 3, methodology. The research design of this research is qualitative research with phenomenological method that seeks in-depth understanding. Creswell 2012 described qualitative research is typically used to establish the importance of the central idea and to explore the problem and develop an understanding of small individuals in social problem. Phenomenology as a research method can be viewed as the study of phenomena, nature and meaning. This kind of research focuses on the way in which perceived reality that occurs through experience. Littlejohn and Foss, 2008, state that phenomenology is a tradition to explore human experience. This research is designed to explore the experience of using audiovisual media YouTube as a vocabulary teaching media from the perspective of EFL student teacher during the teaching practice. The research setting and participant of this research. The participant of this research will be EFL student teachers of English department of one university in Jambi. The researcher choose the participants based on the teaching media that they use during the teaching practice program. Data collection and research instrument of this research will be the instrument of the research uh, that the researcher used in this research will be in-depth interview. In Creswell 2013, he adds that in-depth interview it is very important and reputable as an effective way to gain deeper analysis. The researcher uses semi-structured interview, which the question had been formed before the interview session. The data analysis of this research will be thematic analysis. Researcher using thematic analysis, that is one of method which use identifying, analyzing, and reporting patterns of the themes in the data, and it minimally organizes and describes the data set in detail. Based on Brown and Clark 2006, there are 6 phases or steps of thematic analysis. That is, the first step is familiarizing with the data. The second one is generating the initial codes. The third one is searching for the themes. The fourth is reviewing theme. The fifth is defining and naming themes. And the last one is producing the report. And then trustworthiness of this research will be member checking. The member checking will be conducted by the researcher by meeting the participant one by one and confirm the answer that was recorded before during the interview. The researcher will confirm the participant answer that have been recorded are genuine and true. That is my presentation about my research proposal seminar. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.